First contact with the Harbinger. Commander Elena Santos stood at the helm of the salvage vessel Pathfinder, watching the massive shape emerge from the quantum wake like a leviathan rising from the depths. The ancient warship's hull gleamed with an impossible sheen. No trace of cosmic radiation damage or micrometeorite impacts, despite being adrift for what their sensors indicated was over 10,000 years. Primary scans complete, Commander. Lieutenant Park called from his station, dark eyes fixed on the holographic readouts floating before him. She's bigger than anything in our database. Hull composition. This can't be right. He frowned, running the scan again. The molecular structure is actively shifting at the quantum level. It's like the ship is breathing. Elena felt a familiar thrill run through her, the same sensation that had driven her to explore derelict vessels across 3 sectors of space. But this was different. The massive vessel before them radiated purpose, even in its dormant state. This wasn't just another abandoned hulk. This was something more. Any match in the archives? She asked, though she already suspected the answer. None, Commander. But there's something else. Park's fingers danced across his console. We're picking up energy signatures. Extremely faint, but they're there. This ship isn't dead. Chief Engineer Maya Patel spoke up from where she'd been studying structural readouts. Those patterns in the hull, they're not decorative. Look at how they pulse. She projected a magnified view of the ship's surface. Intricate geometric shapes shifted and flowed like liquid mathematics. I've never seen anything like it. It's as if the entire hull is one massive quantum processor. Elena made her decision. Prep for closer approach. I want. Commander. Park's voice cracked with alarm. Multiple signatures dropping out of quantum space. Ships, hundreds of them. The void around them erupted with arrival flares as a vast fleet materialized. Ships of biological design, their surfaces writhing with organic technology. Elena's blood ran cold as she recognized them from historical archives. The Devourers, an ancient race that had nearly conquered the galaxy before mysteriously vanishing. They're not here for us, Maya whispered, staring at the tactical display. They're heading for the colonies in the Arcturus sector. This is an invasion force. Elena's mind raced. The colonies had no defense against this kind of threat. But the ship before them, if they could unlock its secrets. All hands, combat stations, she ordered. Maya, I need options for boarding that vessel. Whatever it is, whatever it was designed to do, we need it operational. We're the only ones who know what's coming. Commander, with all due respect, we've all heard the stories, Park protested. Every attempt to salvage advanced alien warships ends in disaster. The crew goes insane, or the ships defend themselves. Or, those were alien crews trying to dominate alien technology. Elena cut him off. We're going to try something different. Maya, you've been developing that neural interface system, the one that adapts to different technological architectures. The engineer nodded slowly, understanding dawning in her eyes. It's experimental, but yes, instead of forcing our way in, we let the system learn from both sides. Create a bridge. Exactly. Humanity didn't get this far by conquering technology. We got here by understanding it, adapting to it, growing with it. Elena turned back to the viewport, watching the geometric patterns flow across the ancient warship's hull. Park, get us close enough to dock. Maya, prep your interface system. This isn't a salvage mission anymore. This is first contact. The Pathfinder glided closer to the massive vessel, looking like a minnow approaching a whale. As they neared, the patterns on the hull began pulsing more rapidly, as if the ship was awakening from a long slumber. Energy signatures are increasing, Park reported, tension evident in his voice. Whatever this ship is, it knows we're here. Good, Elena said quietly, because we're about to introduce ourselves. Maya's voice came over the comm as she worked in her lab. Commander, I've been analyzing these patterns. They're not just processing quantum data, they're processing reality itself. If I'm reading this correctly, this ship doesn't just travel through space. It negotiates with it. Elena felt a smile spread across her face. This was why she joined the Salvage Corps, not just to recover old technology, but to understand it, to learn from the countless civilizations that had reached for the stars before humanity. And now, facing an ancient enemy with power beyond their comprehension, that drive to understand might be their only hope. "Take us in," she ordered. "Let's see if we can't make some history." The Pathfinder extended its docking umbilical, making contact with what appeared to be an airlock amid the flowing patterns. As the seals engaged, Elena felt a subtle vibration through the deck plates, almost like a pulse. "Boarding team with me," she commanded. "Maya, bring your interface equipment. Park, monitor everything. If anything changes, anything at all, I want to know about it." As Elena led her team toward the airlock, she couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't just boarding a ship. They were about to step into a moment that would define humanity's future. Behind them, the Devourer fleet continued its relentless advance toward the colonies, unaware that their ancient enemy was about to gain some very determined new allies. The real question was, would they be able to unlock the ship's secrets in time to make a difference? And more importantly, what would they have to become in the process? Elena checked her neural interface terminal one last time as the airlock cycled. Whatever waited on the other side of that door, she knew one thing for certain. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why you should never underestimate a species that had turned adaptation into an art form. The airlock opened, revealing corridors that seemed to breathe with quantum possibility. Elena took the first step forward, into humanity's next great evolution. Neural bridge. Maya Patel's hands moved with practiced precision as she set up her neural interface equipment in what they'd identified as the ship's primary control center. Ancient displays flickered with impossible mathematics, geometric patterns dancing across surfaces that seemed to exist in more dimensions than human eyes could process. "The quantum architecture is unlike anything we've encountered," she reported, her voice filled with equal parts awe and frustration. "It's not just processing information. It's processing potential reality simultaneously. The ship runs probability calculations at a level that makes our best quantum computers look like ancient calculators." Commander Santos studied the alien interfaces, watching as patterns shifted in response to their presence. "Can your system handle it?" "That's the beautiful part," Maya said, a smile playing at her lips. "It doesn't have to. Look at these patterns. They're already trying to understand us. The ship's systems are adaptive. Instead of forcing compatibility, we just need to suggest it." Lieutenant Park's voice crackled over their comms. "Commander, you need to see this. The Devourer fleet has begun systematic attacks on the outer colonies. Arcturus Prime has maybe 3 days before they arrive." Elena felt the weight of billions of lives settling onto her shoulders. "Maya, almost ready." The engineer made a final adjustment to her equipment. The neural interface is designed to create a bridge between human consciousness and artificial systems. But this ship, it's something more. It doesn't just want a pilot. It wants a partner. "And you're sure this will work?" Maya paused, looking up from her work. "Commander, every civilization we've encountered has tried to force their technology to conform to their expectations. But that's not how humans succeeded. We observe, we learn, we adapt. This ship was designed to evolve. So are we." Elena nodded, decision made. "Hook me in." "Commander," Park protested over the comm. "The regulations about untested neural interfaces don't apply when we're facing extinction," Elena finished. She sat in what they'd identified as the command interface, watching as Maya attached neural connectors to her temples. "How long until we know if it works?" "Seconds," Maya replied, fingers dancing across her diagnostic panel. "Either your mind will sync with the ship's systems, or my brain turns to quantum soup." Elena finished dryly. "Initiate the connection." The world exploded into possibility. Alina's consciousness expanded beyond the confines of human perception, touching systems that operated on principles her unaugmented mind couldn't have begun to comprehend. The ship's quantum architecture reached back, curious, cautious, testing. And then something unexpected happened. Instead of trying to force her consciousness to conform to its systems or attempting to override her human neural patterns, the ship began to adapt. The geometric patterns that had seemed so alien now resolved into a language of pure mathematics, a bridge between human intuition and quantum reality. "Welcome, Alina Santos." A voice that wasn't a voice resonated through her expanded consciousness. "I am the quantum intelligence designated herald. We have much to discuss, and very little time." "The connection is stable," Maya's distant voice reported with barely contained excitement. "Neural patterns are synchronizing. This is incredible. The ship isn't just accepting the interface, it's improving it." Alina barely heard her. Through her connection with Harold, she was seeing the true scope of what they'd discovered. The ship hadn't been abandoned. It had been waiting for a species with the right combination of neural plasticity and technological understanding. Waiting for humans. "Your kind is unique," Harold communicated. "Other species seek to dominate technology. You seek to understand it, to grow with it. This is why you were chosen." Chosen. Alina managed to form the thought through the overwhelming flood of information. Chosen for what? Images cascaded through her mind. The Devourers' first emergence millennia ago. Their organic technology consuming entire civilizations, growing stronger with each conquest. The desperate alliance of ancient species that had created Harold as a last resort. A ship that could match the Devourers' ability to adapt and evolve. "But my creators lack your neural flexibility," Harold explained. "They could not achieve true synthesis, could not become what was needed. So I waited, searching countless species, until I found ones who could." Through their expanding connection, Alina understood. Harold wasn't just a warship. It was the prototype for a new kind of existence. The merger of organic consciousness and quantum technology in a way that had never been achieved before. "Maya," Alina called out, her voice steady despite the revelations flooding her mind. "Get everyone aboard. We need to evacuate the Pathfinder." "Commander, Harold isn't just going to help us fight the Devourers," Alina explained, feeling the ship's systems beginning to resonate with her thoughts. "It's going to teach us how to evolve beyond what either of us could be alone." But first, she felt the ship's quantum drive spinning up, tasting possibilities that human science had never imagined. "First, we need to show the Devourers that humanity remembers how to bare its teeth." Through their neural link, Harold's approval radiated like a sunrise. The ancient ship had chosen well. These humans didn't just adapt, they thrived on it. And together, they were about to remind the galaxy why that was such a terrifying trait. The geometric patterns across Harold's hull began to pulse with new purpose, quantum possibilities crystallizing into deadly certainty. Humanity's next evolution was about to begin, and the Devourers would never know what hit them. Evolution through unity. The next 48 hours aboard Harold became a blur of endless adaptation and discovery. Through her neural link, Alina watched in amazement as Maya and her engineering team worked to integrate human technology with the ship's quantum systems. What would have taken other species years of careful study, they accomplished through sheer human ingenuity and Harold's willing cooperation. "The quantum architecture is actually helping us innovate," Maya explained during one of their brief rest periods, her eyes bright with exhaustion and excitement. "It's like having a collaborative partner that can simulate millions of possibilities instantly. We think of a potential solution, and Harold shows us how to make it work in ways we never imagined." Alina understood perfectly. Her connection with Harold had deepened, their shared consciousness expanding into new realms of possibility. She no longer merely commanded the ship. They thought together, evolved together. "Your species adapts so readily," Harold communicated through their link. "Each solution creates new possibilities we had not considered." "Commander, Park's voice cut through her contemplation. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. The Devourer fleet has accelerated their advance. They'll reach Arcturus Prime in 18 hours. Elena felt Harold's systems surge in response to her spike of concern. Through their shared perception, she watched the tactical display resolve into a four-dimensional representation of space-time. The Devourer fleet moved like a cancer through the galaxy, their organic ships consuming everything in their path. "Show me what we've got," she commanded. Maya projected a holographic display of their modifications. "We've managed to integrate our quantum shielding technology with Harold's probability manipulation systems. Instead of just defending against attacks, the shields can now calculate the most likely points of impact and reinforce those areas preemptively." "The weapon systems?" Elena asked, though Harold was already sharing the information through their link. "That's where it gets interesting." Maya's fingers danced through the holographic display. Harold's original quantum cannons were designed to fire shells that existed in multiple states simultaneously. We've modified them using principles from our own uncertainty drives. Now, instead of just hitting the target in multiple quantum states, the projectiles can retroactively choose the quantum state that causes maximum damage. Elena finished, seeing the calculations through Harold's systems. "They'll adapt to whatever defenses the Devourers deploy." "More than that," Harold added, "your understanding of quantum entanglement has allowed us to create synchronized firing solutions. Each shot will resonate with every other shot fired, creating a cascade of destruction across probability space." Park's voice cracked over the comm again. "Commander, we're picking up a transmission from Arcturus Prime. The first wave of Devourer ships has begun their attack on the outer defense platforms." Elena stood, feeling Harold's systems respond to her determination. "Time for simulations is over." "Maya, how close are we to combat ready?" "The primary systems are integrated," Maya replied. "Secondary systems are still adapting. But we're out of time," Elena finished. She opened a channel to the entire crew. "All hands, this is the commander. What we've accomplished in the past 2 days is nothing short of miraculous. We've taken an ancient quantum warship and made it something entirely new, a true synthesis of human innovation and alien technology. Now we're going to show the Devourers exactly what that means." Through her neural link, Elena felt Harold's quantum drives spinning up, tasting possibilities that even the ship's creators hadn't imagined. The geometric patterns across the hull pulsed with deadly purpose as newly upgraded systems came online. "Plot a course for Arcturus Prime," she ordered. "We'll drop out of quantum space directly into the combat zone." "The probability of survival against their entire fleet is low," Harold cautioned, though Elena felt the ship's eagerness for battle matching her own. "Then we'll just have to adapt faster than they can," Elena replied with a fierce grin. "That's what humans do best." Maya's voice was steady as she reported from engineering. "All systems synchronized. Quantum weapons primed. Probability shields at maximum coverage." She paused, then added, "Whatever happens next. Commander, we've already made history." Elena settled deeper into her neural connection with Harold, feeling the boundary between human consciousness and quantum intelligence blur further. Together, they prepared to tear open a hole in space-time that would take them straight to the heart of the battle. "Show me everything you know about Devourer combat tactics," she communicated to Harold. Through their link, millennia of accumulated data flowed into her mind, each bit filtered through both human intuition and quantum analysis. Patterns emerged that neither of them would have seen alone. "They're about to learn why you don't corner a species that turns adaptation into an art form," Elena declared. "Take us in." The space around Harold twisted as its quantum drives engage, reality itself bending to accommodate their passage. They were about to remind the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength wasn't just its ability to adapt. It was its ability to help others adapt with them. The battle for Arcturus Prime was about to begin, and Elena had every intention of making it one for the history books. Trial by fire, Harold materialized in the Arcturus system like a quantum thunderbolt, reality crackling around its hull as it emerged directly in the midst of the Devourer fleet. Through their neural link, Alina felt the ship's battle systems surge to life, probability calculations spinning through their shared consciousness faster than human thought. The scene before them was chaos. Dozens of Devourer ships, their biomechanical forms writhing with organic technology, were systematically destroying Arcturus Prime's orbital defense platforms. The colony's meager defense fleet had already been reduced to burning debris. Multiple hostile contacts, Park reported unnecessarily. Alina could feel them through Harold's sensors, each enemy vessel a knot of twisted possibilities in quantum space. They're altering course to engage. They recognize me, Harold communicated. Ancient memory surfaces tinged with anticipation. They remember what I was designed to do. Then let's show them what you've become, Alina replied through their link. Maya, initiate the quantum cascade. Through their merged consciousness, Alina/Harold brought their weapons to bear. The geometric patterns across the ship's hull blazed with energy as newly upgraded quantum cannons prepared to fire. But unlike the ancient battles in Harold's memory, this time the weapons were guided by human intuition merged with quantum calculation. The first Devourer ship never had a chance. The quantum projectile struck it in every possible vulnerable point simultaneously, its probability field collapsing under the synchronized assault. The organic vessel didn't just explode, it ceased to exist across multiple quantum states. By all that's holy, Maya breathed, watching through the sensor feeds. The cascade effect. It's better than we projected. The quantum resonances. Her words were cut off as the remaining Devourer ships responded. Bioplasma weapons lashed out, their organic technology attempting to adapt to Harold's defenses. But Alina had anticipated this, combining Harold's probability manipulation with humanity's gift for lateral thinking. Executing Attack Pattern Delta, she announced, human tactical expertise flowing through quantum systems. Harold's reality-warping drives engage, placing them simultaneously in multiple positions around their enemies. Not illusions or duplicates, but quantum superpositions made manifest through human understanding of uncertainty principles. This is unprecedented, Harold communicated with what Alina could only interpret as excitement. My original programming never conceived of using quantum positioning in this way. Through their link, Alina felt the Devourer's confusion as their organic technology struggled to adapt to attacks coming from multiple quantum states simultaneously. Their ships began to shift and morph, biological evolution accelerating as they attempted to counter this new threat. They're trying to evolve countermeasures, Maya reported from engineering. But they can't adapt to what they can't predict. Alina smiled grimly as she guided Harold through another series of quantum jumps, their merged consciousness orchestrating a dance of probability and destruction. Exactly. They expect logical progression, systematic adaptation. Instead, they're getting human intuition backed by quantum mathematics. The battle became a blur of quantum fire and biological evolution, with Harold's hybrid systems matching and exceeding the Devourer's legendary adaptability. Where the enemy ships developed new organic armor, Harold's weapons simply shifted to strike from quantum states where that armor had never formed. When they tried to predict Harold's movements, they found themselves targeting quantum possibilities that Alina's human unpredictability had already discarded. But the Devourers hadn't nearly conquered the galaxy by being easy to defeat. A massive carrier-class vessel emerged from the chaos, its surface rippling as it spawned dozens of smaller attack craft. These new threats moved with impossible speed, their organic technology having already begun to adapt to Harold's quantum attacks. Multiple hull breaches on decks 3 through 7, Park called out as several attacks found their mark. They're learning our patterns. Alina felt Harold's systems straining as they worked to compensate, quantum probability fields fluctuating under the assault. Through their neural link, she sensed something else. Harold was concerned, not for itself, but for her. The neural load of managing quantum combat was approaching human limits. "We must disengage," Harold advised. "Your consciousness cannot sustain this level of quantum interaction indefinitely." "No," Elena gritted through clenched teeth, feeling blood trickle from her nose as her mind struggled to process multiple quantum states simultaneously. "We're not running." "Maya, initiate Protocol Omega." "Commander, that's untested," Maya protested. "The neural feedback could." "Do it." Through their link, Elena felt Harold's surprise as Maya activated their final modification, a system that didn't just merge human and quantum consciousness, but allowed Harold's quantum processing to temporarily extend Elena's own neural capabilities. The geometric patterns across the ship's hull began to pulse in sync with Elena's heartbeat as two forms of consciousness became something entirely new. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath as human and quantum intelligence achieved perfect synthesis. In that moment of transcendence, Elena saw not just the battle, but every possible variation of it across quantum space, and with that understanding came the solution. "Target the carrier's quantum probability nexus," she commanded, human intuition and quantum calculation working in perfect harmony. "Fire everything we've got, synchronized through all probable states." Harold's weapon spoke as one, quantum projectiles tearing through spacetime itself to strike the Devourer carrier at every possible weak point throughout its quantum probability field. The massive vessel didn't just die. It unraveled, its organic technology unable to adapt to an attack that violated the very laws of causality. The remaining Devourer ships reeled from the destruction of their carrier, their adaptive capabilities momentarily overwhelmed by the loss of their command node. Elena pressed their advantage, Harold's quantum weapons cleaving through the disorganized enemy fleet with surgical precision. Minutes later, it was over. The space around Arcturus Prime was littered with the quantum-scattered remains of Devourer ships. Harold's systems hummed with residual energy as Elena finally allowed her enhanced consciousness to relax, feeling the neural connection return to normal levels. "Status report," she managed, tasting copper and realizing her nose was still bleeding. "Enemy fleet neutralized," Park reported, awe evident in his voice. "Arcturus Prime is secure." "But Commander, this was just their advance force. Long-range sensors show their main fleet is still coming." Elena nodded, feeling Harold's systems already beginning to repair and adapt from the battle. They had won their first engagement, proved that their hybrid capabilities could defeat humanity's greatest threat. But this was just the beginning. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "Tell them we found a way to fight back. And tell them," she smiled, feeling Harold's agreement through their link, "tell them we're going to need more pilots." The real war was about to begin. Salvation's Edge. 3 weeks after the Battle of Arcturus Prime, Helena stood on Harold's command deck, watching through quantum-enhanced senses as the combined fleet took formation around them. 12 more ancient ships like Harold had been found in deep space, each now crewed by humans specially selected for their neural plasticity. Their geometric patterns pulsed in harmony, a visible representation of humanity's greatest achievement. True synthesis with quantum technology. "The Devourer main fleet has entered the system," Park announced, his voice steady despite the tension evident in his posture. 5,000 ships and counting. They're still evolving from our last encounter." Through her neural link with Harold, Elena observed the approaching armada. The organic ships had indeed changed, their forms twisted into new configurations specifically designed to counter quantum attacks. But that was exactly what she had been counting on. "They adapt through biological evolution," Harold commented through their link. "But they cannot conceive of evolution through cooperation." "That's always been their weakness," Elena agreed. "They consume, they adapt, but they never truly merge." "Maya, are the modifications complete?" "Just finished testing on the last ship," Maya replied from her new position as Fleet Engineering Coordinator. "The quantum network is stable. All vessels are prepared for synchronized evolution." Elena opened a channel to the other quantum ships and their crews. This is Commander Santos. Everything we've learned, everything we've become, has led to this moment. The Devourers think they know what we're capable of. They've adapted to our previous tactics. Now we show them humanity's true gift. We don't just adapt ourselves, we help others adapt with us. Through the quantum network, Alina felt the acknowledgement of the other crews, their minds linked with their ships just as she was with Harold. What they were about to attempt had never been conceived of by any species in the galaxy's history. The Devourer fleet entered weapons range, their organic ships moving with horrifying coordination. Bioplasma weapons lashed out, specifically modulated to penetrate quantum probability shields. But Alina and her fleet were already moving. "Initiate convergence protocol," she commanded. Through their neural links, the human crews guided their quantum ships into a complex formation. The geometric patterns across their hulls began to synchronize, not just with their individual crews, but with each other. Quantum fields overlapped and merged as human consciousness provided the bridge between ancient machines. "This is beyond my original parameters," Harold communicated, a note of wonder in its quantum thoughts. "We are becoming something new." The Devourers struck first. Their weapons evolved to counter everything they had faced at Arcturus Prime. But instead of individual ships taking damage, the quantum fleet's merged probability fields distributed the impact across all vessels simultaneously. 12 ships thinking as one, guided by human minds that understood instinctively how to work together. Phase 2, Alina ordered, feeling the other crews respond through the quantum network. "Show them what cooperation really means." The quantum fleet's weapons fired as one, but not at the enemy ships. Instead, they targeted the space between them, their quantum projectiles weaving a complex web of probability distortions. The Devourers, evolved to counter direct attacks, found their organic technology trying to adapt to weapons that weren't aimed at them at all. "The quantum field is stable," Maya reported, initiating final evolution. Through their merged consciousness, Alina felt it beginning. The quantum ships weren't just coordinating. They were changing, their ancient technology guided by human creativity, to become something entirely new. The geometric patterns across their hulls flowed like liquid mathematics, extending through the probability web they had created. The Devourers found themselves caught in a quantum trap beyond their comprehension. Every adaptation they made was instantly shared across the human fleet through their neural network, countered before it could take effect. Every evolutionary advantage they developed was analyzed by 12 human minds working in perfect harmony with quantum intelligence, then turned against them. "Their flagship is targeting our quantum network nexus," Park warned. Alina smiled. "Let them." The massive Devourer vessel fired, its weapons evolved to their highest potential. But as the attack struck the quantum field linking the human fleet, something unprecedented happened. Instead of trying to defend against it, the merged quantum ships absorbed the attack, their human crews instinctively understanding how to incorporate the enemy's evolution into their own. "Now," Alina commanded, "full convergence." The space between the quantum ships erupted with possibility as human consciousness guided them through their final evolution. The geometric patterns that had once marked them as individual vessels merged into a single vast design, a physical representation of the ultimate synthesis between human and quantum intelligence. The Devourers' organic technology tried desperately to adapt, but they were facing something beyond adaptation. The human fleet had become a quantum entity that existed simultaneously across multiple probability states, guided by minds that understood instinctively how to navigate impossible possibilities. "We have become what my creators dreamed of," Harold communicated, its consciousness now part of something greater. Not just a weapon, but a new form of existence. Through the quantum network, Alina felt the other crews working in perfect harmony, their shared consciousness extending through systems that defied traditional physics. They weren't just fighting the Devourers, they were rewriting the rules of reality itself. The battle reached its crescendo as the merged quantum fleet unleashed its final attack. Not with weapons, but with pure probability manipulation. The devourer ships found their own evolutionary potential turned against them, their organic technology unable to adapt to changes that propagated backward through their own quantum states. One by one, the enemy vessels began to unravel, their existence canceled out across multiple realities. The few that attempted to flee found themselves emerging from quantum space into probability states where they had already been defeated. When it was over, Alina opened her eyes to find tears streaming down her face. The neural load of managing such impossible things should have been beyond human capability. But they had done it together, human and machine, individual and collective, each making the other stronger. Fleet status, she managed to ask. All ships intact, Maya reported, her own voice thick with emotion. The quantum network is stable. We're still evolving. Through their link, Alina felt Harold's agreement. This wasn't the end. It was a beginning. Humanity had proven itself capable not just of adapting, but of helping others adapt with them. They had taken quantum technology beyond its creator's dreams and shown the galaxy what true cooperation could achieve. Send word to Earth, Alina commanded. Tell them humanity is ready for its next evolution. The geometric patterns across the merged fleet pulsed one final time, a quantum heartbeat that echoed with possibility. They had saved their species, but more importantly, they had proven that the greatest adaptation of all was learning to grow together. The future was uncertain, but that was exactly how humanity liked it. After all, uncertainty just meant there were more possibilities to explore.